I'm really tired of the bullshit advice these people give. People think that they're trying to help them when really they're just lining their pockets with their bullshit advice that they're handing out. Debt is king.
It really is.
Cash is
It really is.
stupid.
Yeah, love it.
Dave Ramsey. On this podcast, we are going to be cutting up Dave Ramsey.
Yeah. Well, we're putting him on. We're putting some of the financial advice that he puts out there.
So what we're going to start doing is, I think people are going to really like this kind of series that we're going to start doing. We are going to start putting people on blast in the real estate I guess not even. I guess
financial
advisors, real estate gurus, and gurus in general, business gurus. You're going to start hearing it from us because I'm really tired of the bullshit advice these people give. I'm really tired of the advice that they take advantage of people.
Oh, big time.
You know, and people think that they're trying to help them when really they're just lining their pockets with their bullshit advice that they're handing out. So we're going to start fucking people up on this podcast, and we're going to start cutting them up. So number one, we're going to cut up Dave Ramsey today with one of his tweets. So we're going to get into, we're only going to divide up the series on individual topics. We're not going to like put someone on blast for all of their advice because maybe they have some good advice. I don't know. But when someone puts out a tweet or a post that's completely horseshit, we're gonna start looking for your stupid advice.
And I want it's so important because when those tweets can get in somebody's mind and alter the course of their financial destiny. One piece of bad advice put in somebody's mind, like the one we're going to talk about, which is which quote are we? Which tweet is it?
Let me look it up. I didn't send it to Jesse yet, so I'll just look it up on the. Did I send it to you? Yeah. Oh, okay. I sent like 5. Debt is dumb. Cash is king.
Like
don't spend money that's nachos. And he has a picture
not yours?
Yeah, not yours. And he has a fucking picture of nachos. So, as a dad joke, would that be considered like a dad joke?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. So I want to start off by saying Dave Ramsey was like the financial god to my parents. Like he's a boomer special.
I never heard of this guy.
Yeah. And he's not our generation, but and my parents, for instance, are the definition of middle class rat race, not understanding how to become financially free. And you made an interesting comment. You actually said, well, it's not bad advice. And I said, oh, yes, it is. It is bad advice because it's going to keep you trapped in basically middle-class poverty, I like to call it.
Let me rebut, motherfucker, okay?
Go ahead.
So what I meant is if somebody doesn't want to do what we're doing, it's bad advice for someone that wants to build wealth, okay? That's very bad advice, which is typically our demographic. However, for somebody that is just comfortable, you know, like say my dad, that doesn't want to fucking do anything and just wants to live debt-free, it's not bad advice.
Here's the reason. This is the reason that people like that are comfortable. This is why they're comfortable in that sphere, because of stuff like that.
I know where you're going. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But my dad or whoever, like these type of people, they don't have a stomach for this kind of shit.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Because they're told by
I get it.
They're told.
I get it.
The reason they don't have a stomach for it is because they're told that it's bad.
But they'll never change. So you're not going to fucking change them.
I disagree. I used to think debt was bad too.
I never did.
Right. Most people do. Most people we're bred that way, right? We're bred in the middle class. We're bred with middle class ideas, which are bad ideas. So I see what you mean. We're playing devil's advocate.
I'm trying to look at it like subjective.
Yeah. I'm going to hold my position here that it's not only neutral advice or okay advice. It's actually really detrimental to people.
I'm sure what I mean is, I'll explain a little deeper. What I mean is, it's probably decent advice for someone. He probably has. I don't give a fuck about this guy. I don't know who he is. He looks like a fucking idiot. But all I'm saying is
he's actually a nice guy.
Yeah, whatever. So all I'm saying is yeah, I shouldn't say. I was a little bit strong. So all I'm saying is Justin's over there laughing. All I'm saying is he probably has good advice for someone that has a life goal of paying off their house.
But that's bad advice.
I understand. But what I'm fucking saying is like in that niche, if somebody like is like my I don't want to even invest any money. I don't want to like get ahead in life. My end goal is to pay off my house and live debt free. Maybe
if
he
your
has good
end
advice.
goal is to be broke, that's good advice. Because
Okay.
I will consider most middle class people to be broke because you have no freedom and you have to work for money until you die.
Okay.
So let's leave it at that then, and let's get into the details.
So Dave Ramsey
here.
has great advice if you want to be broke
Forever and never become financial. Honestly, it's good advice because you can be middle class broke.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about why his tweet there or whatever. He's got like a tweet that is posted as like an Instagram, post, whatever, or a screenshot. And his post is debt is dumb, cash is king. Okay.
Let's break it down.
Horrible. Like if you want to build wealth, get ahead, like live, financially free or what, or even get ahead of inflation. That is the fucking worst advice ever because number one, oh man,
like
it's
the
just
world,
awful.
the world
It's so
works.
bad.
The world and the economy works on debt.
Yeah.
People need to understand this. Capitalism works on debt.
Mm-hmm.
You borrow money to start your business. You use the money generated by your business to pay off those loans. You buy real estate using debt. Like the whole world works on debt. And if you don't understand how to use it, you will always be left behind. Like you will never be able to keep up with inflation.
Like think about what he's
impossible.
Yeah, think about what he's telling you to do. He's telling you to keep like cash is king. What he's trying to say is like have as much cash on hand, correct?
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Or save as much money,
100%,
whatever.
yeah.
The problem is inflation's moving faster than what you would even earn, like not even close. What you would earn in your bank account.
Yeah.
Like not even close. It's not even close. Like what do you earn in your bank account? Like what's the best savings account? 1%?
What, 1 to 2%?
Like it's a
max.
fucking joke.
Yeah.
I've never even seen 2%. You've seen 2%?
No, maybe if you have a significant amount of money, maybe you can get that 2% or something like that.
So it's very bad advice for anybody that wants to get ahead.
Yeah.
No matter what.
It's also bad advice because you literally are losing money. It's not just if you want to get ahead. You're not even staying neutral with that mentality. And then, we talk about core price index.
I think the problem is when people have a big amount in their bank account, they see that amount continuing to grow. But what they don't understand on the back end of that is the value of that currency is losing money.
Yeah, it's like
especially now.
People just don't get it. They don't
Especially
understand.
right now.
They don't understand the two sides of that coin.
Yeah.
Your real estate values in Windsor, Ontario, if you're saving money, just rose 45% year over year. Like maybe you gained 2% on your interest, but you lost 45% buying power. If you were to looking to buy a house or buy a house for your kid or buy an investment property, whatever the case is,
opportunity cost is huge.
You just lost 43%.
Yeah.
Now, not everything rose 43%, but I know gasoline prices are up significantly with the new carbon tax. And not just inflation, but like also government policy and taxation is playing a role in your buying power as well. And you're losing money at an incredibly fast pace. So not only are you not getting ahead, you're actually falling way further behind really quickly. But you're right. You see the number in your account growing. Yeah. And without understanding the opposite side of that coin, you're getting destroyed.
People are like mesmerized by that.
Yeah.
I used to fall victim to that too,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I was never scared of debt. When I first started the business, I was very reluctant to take on debt. I always wanted to
fund everything cash or what?
Not find everything cash. I just kept rolling everything into the business so that I didn't have this, luring big debt monster, hanging over my shoulder, which was, potentially the wrong move or the right move, whatever. But
how do you feel now? Would you, if you had your mentality now and you go back 10 years, would you have done things differently?
No, because I feel like, first of all, it's pretty difficult to get debt. To get a loan or whatever when you're a new company, regardless, right? I probably started taking on debt probably 5 years into the business. 5 years. People should listen to this too. You ain't going to the bank and getting a bunch of money.
No.
So what I was doing was, I was financing it myself and I was living like significantly under my means, like significantly. You remember? Yeah. So I was driving a fucking 99 Ford Windstar forever. You know what I mean? I always tell this because it's true. I couldn't even park that thing in my driveway because it would stain my driveway. There was so much rust on it. Yeah. So I'd have to park it on the street. Like even when I would shut the door, there would like be rust chunks that would fall off the car. and then fall on the driveway, and it would just like, and it would rain, and it would just be rust chunks, like rust stained driveway all over the place. So, yeah, so that was what I did in the beginning, and I think that was the right move. I don't agree with starting a business off debt. I actually don't agree with starting a business off debt. That's what I don't agree with. I agree with obviously owning real estate.
Yeah, and
leveraging.
First of all, you're not going to start a business off debt. The bank's not going to give you $200,000.
Well, it depends, right?
Well, if
like,
you're some beginner businessman with
or
a day job,
that might be
makes $50,000 a month.
Yeah,
you're not going to walk in there and they're going to give you $250,000 to start your e-commerce business.
Yeah, or they might you might be able to use some other sort of debt, right? You might be able to leverage your home, or you might be able to leverage your own like line of credit that you have.
Yeah, some good points.
That's not directly related to a new venture, right? So you might be able to do that. I just never had any of those options.
Yeah, you didn't have a bunch of assets to pull from or something
exactly.
like that.
So.
Yeah. And when it comes to debt, like when you understand debt, it's really just math. Just like everything else in investing, like when you break it down, it really is numbers. So
for sure. So debt is very important to be able to also scale a business, right?
Huge. And a portfolio of real estate.
Obviously, exactly. And this is one of the reasons why companies go public is to raise funds to scale. That's it. They don't go public because the owner of the company just wants to make like a shit ton of money. That's not typically why they do it. And I'll give everybody a little bit of a rundown of why you actually see the majority of cannabis companies go public. It's because the banks won't fund them.
Good point.
So the only way to fund these big projects is to go public and bring in funding. So
outsiders capital. Yeah.
Exactly.
To go build your facility, to go buy your product, to advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
And that can be dangerous when you have a bunch of non-experienced businessmen
100%
taking other people's money to try to start a business. That's why we see so many of them failing.
Exactly.
By the way.
That's why, exactly, 100%.
Like they're not, it's not their money.
It seems like a lot of people in this industry are not very shrewd. They don't have a very good business acumen. It seems like that's the case.
Maybe getting caught up in the hype. And
maybe. Yeah, probably. They
overestimating.
It's like the new gold rush. It was literally like the new gold rush, right? So,
So let's break down some when I'm factoring in whether or not I'm going to borrow money for debt. This is all that goes through my head. How much is that debt going to cost me right now for a mortgage? It's what, 2%? Let's call it, plus or minus 2%. It's going to cost me to borrow that money.
I just did a mortgage for like 2.25%.
Yeah, commercial loan. Yeah. Insanely low. Yeah. Now the question is, how much is that property making you total ROI annually versus your debt? Simple math, right?
Yeah.
What I'm seeing right now in real estate in general, with principal pay down, cash flow, and appreciation, your typical total ROI is 25% plus. On a duplex, single family home in Windsor, that's pretty standard. And then, of course, we're getting crazy appreciation. So it's actually way higher than that. It ends up being 200, 300% right now. I don't anticipate that continuing, but that's the reality right now. So I'm borrowing money for 2%. I'm making 25% plus total ROI. That's how you get rich.
Yeah.
Like that's how you get financially free.
Yeah, 2% in a savings account is fuck all.
You're losing money.
You're going to lose money.
You're losing money.
Yeah.
You need
2% at best.
You need double to get financially free. You need to borrow money and get double-digit ROIs on that money. So what's 25% minus 2%? 23%. You're making 23% on borrowed money.
Yeah.
With an easy investment property in Windsor. Do that 5 or 10 times. You're going to double, triple your money like every couple of years.
Yeah.
Every 3 or 4 years, I think. You're going to double your money. So that's how you get financially free.
Exactly.
If you're not willing to take on that debt to fund those projects and then increase those ROIs, you will be broke forever. You might live a decent life. You might have a nice house and stuff like that, but you're technically broke because you don't own anything, usually including your own house. Because what do most people do when they pay off their house, right? The people that have a goal to pay off their house, what ends up happening when they pay it off a lot of times is they're going to end up remortgaging it later down the line because they need the money, or they're going to do a renovation on the property and they're going to end up having a mortgage on it again. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think they just end up living debt, like just mortgage free.
They have that idea, but then what happens when you're 65 years old and your kid is now going to school or needs to buy their house? Like a lot of people will end up tapping into that.
Is that what
equity
ends up
again.
happening? I don't know.
Yes,
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, most people have a goal of paying off their mortgage, and then at some point in life, something happens where they're like, "Oh, I'm going to take that money out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it to buy a car. I'm going to fund my kids' college education because nobody has money lying around, right? Like especially with inflation, like the cost of college and university tuition keeps doubling and tripling. So what you thought you could help your kid go through school, and now prices are way higher. So, well, what's your only option when you don't have any other assets to pull from? You don't have a business. You've retired from your job. You have a minimal income. Your only asset is your house. That's it. You have nothing else, right? So you have no choice. Now, the beautiful thing about real estate is you should have 10 or 20 of those houses to pull money from. That's where the power is, right? And you've used debt and other people's money. I don't mean other people's money like you borrow money from other people. I mean the tenants are paying your mortgage off. So that's using the tenants' money to fund that.
Yeah.
So, that's why it's very easy to buy one property a year for investment for 10 years or 20 years and be like a multi-millionaire without really stretching yourself too far.
No.
And if you don't feel comfortable owning real estate debt, you have to remember that the Canadian banks are willing to lend you money at 2% interest for 30 years. They're the biggest real estate owners, by the way, the Canadian banks. They own all the real estate. So if the Canadian banks are willing to do it, you don't think you should feel comfortable owning a property?
It's a wrong mindset.
It's a wrong mindset, and it will keep you trapped.
Like you said, it is true. Guys like this are trapping people.
Yes,
they're selling this narrative.
That's the danger.
They're selling this narrative, and he's probably scaring. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know anything about him. I don't know what he preaches. I don't know, but all I know is his tweets are fucked up.
Yeah,
and
he actually has some even. For the U.S. real estate market, he actually predicts, he says it's not in a bubble right now. He predicts a long ways to go for, because prices are spiking in the U.S.
You follow this guy?
No, but somebody had posted about it. Oh. He's not my vibe, right?
Yeah.
But I actually liked what he said about the U.S. real estate market. I expected him to say the opposite. Oh, it's dangerous. So I was a little bit surprised by that. So like you said, he might have some good advice mixed in there. I don't know. I haven't looked at, I don't really care. Problem is, when you mix in good advice with bad advice, it's going to confuse people, and people that don't get it, it'll just keep you trapped in.
It's probably still selling his narrative.
That's a good point.
He's probably telling people, buy a house, and when you buy the house, I'm going to show you how to pay off your mortgage a lot faster and live debt free. Yeah. That's probably his whole entire narrative.
That's his marketing, and that's a good point because we always talk about this. These people, they might have ulterior motives.
Well, I'll give you an example. Look at our buddy, the doctor. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
I'm not going to fucking put him on blast here. Okay, he's a doctor, makes great money. He does not, I talked to him about this. He is fully intends on living mortgage free. That is his goal.
Yeah.
He's a shrewd investor. He's into the stock market. He's into a couple other things. But he's even talked to me about investment properties, this and that. But he does not intend on having a personal mortgage ever. Another person that's very interesting, that the big developer around town that I've had a couple dealings with, he wants to live mortgage free. His goal is to live mortgage free as well. See what I mean? And his reasoning is because if shit ever hits the fan, at least he knows that his principal residence is taken care of. And that can't be taken away. I totally disagree. I wildly disagree with that. So number one, either he feels like he's living above his means. Okay, so if shit does hit the fan, he won't be able to, support his lifestyle. Number one. Number two, it's just if that's the case, you have so much money tied up that you can leverage. It's astonishing. Okay, because the two people that we're talking about, one's on a fucking the echelon of scales. Okay, and then the other one, the doctor, is still way above
high
middle class.
High income earner. And a job that's never going away.
Exactly. But these two people, they just have the wrong mentality. And you can't tell me that buddy there, developer buddy there, doesn't know what the fuck's going on. We're talking about somebody that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So at the end of the day, I don't know what it is, but sometimes people just have a different kind of mentality. Whether it be wrong or right, I don't know.
I'll speak for myself, man. When I was working at the border, I thought this way.
Yeah.
And I know what it took for me to have the light bulb go off. And it took a lot. A few people were in my ear. I didn't ever see what you were doing. I didn't get it. I didn't comprehend what you were buying real estate. I remember 10, 15 years ago. I saw you doing it, but I didn't understand. And then I had a guy at work that kept talking about real estate, but I just kept saying no. And I was literally hammering down my mortgage. Literally, that was my game plan. I get a paycheck every 2 weeks, $500 on the mortgage. I thought I was a genius. So, and I got sucked into advice like that. That would have appealed to me because it makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. And I didn't want to hear people telling me I was doing it wrong. Right? I didn't want to hear that. But somebody had to keep hammering me for about 2 years. No, you're wrong. That's wrong. Oh, you can't get rich in the stock market. You can't, you should buy real estate. You should invest in real estate. This is why I heard it. I kept tuning out. So that's the danger of it. When you keep bombarding people with the wrong message, it's going to keep them trapped. And that's why we come out here. We basically say the same thing over and over again, right? We hit different points and stuff like that. But you have to keep hammering people until the light bulb goes off and they understand that they're generally doing their financial life wrong. And that's all there is to it. And then in terms of, having a fear-based mentality of the market crashes, that's going to, that's going to keep you trapped. At
the end of the day, if Buddy's worried about hey, I can't afford this lifestyle, and then the market crashes, well, sell your shit. You're probably going to make more money than if you lose it.
100% you will.
In the interim, right? So
1,000,000%.
I'll give you an example, and then maybe we can kind of, leave off on this. When I bought my new place there, I ended up selling my house for $400,000 or $500,000 more than I bought it for. I actually mortgaged my house as much as I could, took the money and the equity and loaned it out at 15%. Like a private, I did a private mortgage with the equity that I pulled from my personal residence, loaned it out for 15%, got my private residence mortgage for a 1.75% rate. And I'm making what's the spread on that? It's fucking huge.
13%.
I don't know. So I don't understand why people do this because at the end of the day, I'm taking all the equity I ever can out of my place. Yeah. Every cent I can out of my principal residence. And I'm putting it somewhere where I'm making more than whatever the rates are.
More than 2%.
Exactly.
Which is not, if you can't make 2% in the free world economy or more, that's the problem.
And people, here's the thing too. People are, I constantly hear this too. Oh my God, what if rates go into the teens and this and that? If rates go into the teens, you better believe, guess what's going to happen to private mortgages? You're going to, if rate, exactly. 30, 20, it's irrelevant. It's all relevant.
The market always adjusts.
It's all relative.
It always adjusts.
Yeah, it's all relative. So if the banks are handing out mortgages for double digits,
you're going to be able to charge more.
Exactly. You're going to charge more. It's all relative.
Yeah.
So I'm not really all that worried about it.
Yeah.
So, and it's my principal residence. And, at the end of the day, that's the smart move. That's actually the move. That's the move to get ahead further in life is leveraging every single thing you can, especially when you have tangible assets, especially.
I'm doing 3 refinances right now. Market's appreciated significantly over the past 1.5 to 2 years. Every property that I have is up $100,000 plus. Do you think I'm going to leave that money sitting there at 2% interest rates?
Yeah.
Like that's insane to me. That would be a really bad financial move. But I will talk to people that don't feel good about refinancing the properties. Yeah. And it's I don't understand. The rates are 2%.
Yeah.
It can't get any lower. If it does go higher, you can lock that in at today for 5 years at 2% if you want, or whatever the case is, and cover your costs there. But either way, I'm gonna have $125,000 of liquid cash.
Yeah.
That I can. Okay, so say the market crashes. Well, I got $125,000 now sitting in the bank to weather whatever storm.
Yeah.
That could weather you for 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. Worst case scenario.
For sure.
And then you did it 3 times. So
yeah.
A lot of bad advice in there. That's bad advice.
Yeah. So debt is king.
It really is.
Cash is.
It really is stupid. Yeah. Love it.
Dave Ramsey.
Trigger.